GameSpot's coverage of E3 2014. You're watching the Samsung stage right here at GameSpot.com/E3. I'm very happy to be joined by Pete Smith from Sony Computer Entertainment and Tom O'Connor, also from Sony Computer Entertainment Europe. SEE. Dudes, maybe you guys can clear this up for me.
Go on.
Everyone thought, because Media Molecule had said we're not going to be at E3, that there's going to be no Little Big Planet game. Yeah. And then suddenly, lights up on the show floor and there's a Little Big Planet game. What's going on?
Yeah, well, you know what? Before I answer that, it's so cool when you get an actual genuine announcement that nobody knows about before.
Totally, yeah.
It's awesome. And yesterday morning we were like, it's still not got out. It's still not got out. And then, when the logo went on screen, and everyone went, wow, a genuine surprise. And it was Little Big Planet as well. That was just such an awesome
It was
moment.
great. It was, and the way it was presented with the lights just popped on, and then I'm guessing it was a bunch of devs from Sumo were just standing on stage then.
Yeah, well, it was all Sony.
Oh, was it really?
It was us.
Oh, excellent. Okay, let's talk about Little Big Planet 3. You guys, it started off and it is, okay, this looks like the Little Big Planet we know and love. What new is going to be brought to the table? And then suddenly all these freakish sock things and fat men and flying beasts come out. Explain for the folks at home who missed it, what's the sort of the USP of Little Big Planet 3?
Well, I mean, the first obvious thing that you'll notice is the characters. And I think, you've been able to do so many different things in Little Big Planet. You can create pretty much whatever you want. But you've kind of always been quite tied to Sackboy. And so we were introducing so many things across Little Big Planet 1, Little Big Planet 2. And we thought, actually, the characters are an area what we haven't really played with too much.
And Sackboy is a pretty endearing character. Like he has his place in the sort of modern video game character world.
Absolutely. Yeah, and he's kind of a bit of a PlayStation mascot as well.
Yeah, true.
But we thought let's really have some fun with these characters, and it's amazing how much they change the gameplay. And it's always great to get something which is so visually different, but then also something which completely changes the game and the possibilities, because it's not just those characters, but you can customize the characters in so many different ways, and that really opens things up for the creators. The creators love them. They absolutely love them. And yet the creators love them, yet people just picking it up straight away can play and feel the differences straight away. So it's such a nice thing. I mean, there's so much in the game.
Yeah.
As with every Little Big Planet, there's just tons and tons and tons of stuff.
Is that a new challenge, having the fact that there's 4 different types of characters? If one thing with Little Big Planet was it's very accessible, having 4 characters, does that make it a little bit more difficult to try and explain what their abilities are and whatnot?
No, not at all, because the great thing about Little Big Planet is that it's very physical. So, for example, you saw on the screen we've got a character called Toggle, and he can change between big and heavy and small and light. And we've seen people at the show today playing it for the first time.
Yeah.
They need no explanation. They just pick it up and they're straight in and playing. So it's really, really accessible.
It's great. So people are able to play it today and they didn't know it existed 24 hours
Exactly.
ago.
Yeah.
You guys done good. Let's look at the gameplay that we're showing here at the moment on the streams. You just explain for the folks which characters we're looking at and the sort of the ways in which they changed Little Big Planet.
Yeah, sure. So the character you just saw then, that's Oddsock. And Oddsock's like our first 4-legged character that's ever been in Little Big Planet. And the great thing about Oddsock is that it can really, really fast. So you can create really fast gameplay. You can create like an endless runner. Oddsock can wall jump. And it's really, really cool to kind of play with a character that feels so different to Sackboy. Of course, you can fully customize all the characters, just like you can customize Sackboy. So with the game, you'll have lots of different costumes you can collect, lots of customization options, and people are going to have a lot of fun with that.
Excellent. I want to remind the folks at home, if you have any questions at all for the guys up on stage here, at Danny O'Dwyer on Twitter, and I'll do my best to get them over. There's already a bunch coming in. I can't believe this question's already been asked. Will you guys be selling plushies of all the new characters?
Watch this space.
Okay.
Our merchandising guys like us.
I think there might be a market for some of this stuff.
But what we will have as well is new costumes and downloadable costumes as well.
Yes.
Sackboy's wardrobe is just amazing.
Yeah, already.
And we'll be doing that for the new characters as well.
So level creation has always been a really important part of Little Big Planet, and especially Little Big Planet 2, in the way in which people were making wholly different types of gameplay. Considering now, mechanically, you don't just have one type of character, you've got 4. Yep. That creates new challenges for people making levels, surely.
I don't know about challenges, it creates new opportunities. And because you can choose whatever you want. So you could do an endless runner with Oddsock. Yeah, and that'd be really easy.
Yeah.
That would just be so easy to do that. But then you can make it much, much more complicated. You can actually switch between characters. So we've introduced 4 new characters, not 3. because Big Toggle is a separate character to Little Toggle.
Ah, okay, yeah.
So in the game, we choose that you switch between the two of them.
Yes.
Yep. But actually, as a creator, you could switch between Sackboy and Toggle, Sackboy and Sweep. So you can, during the level, you can actually change yourself. So there's loads of opportunities to make really interesting gameplay. But it's very, very immediate. You know, Oddsock is like a dog.
Yeah.
And it's kind of just obvious. It's like, yeah, well, I get that, I press X, and it jumps like a dog, so I'll make a running game. So, and we've tried hard to make them really immediate. There's so much fun. Oddsock wall jumping particularly is loads of fun.
Yeah.
It's really good.
You guys had a little bit of trouble on the stage yesterday. There was some latency happening with the...
Yeah, we had some lag issues.
But what I loved about that, though, is that when we were watching it in the war room and it wasn't happening, the cheer when Oddsock actually finally got up there, was like, yeah.
Oh, yeah, there was no bigger cheer than from us, I think.
But that seems to be the wonder of LittleBigPlanet, is that like it is a game that has seen a lot of releases in a relatively short period of time. Like PlayStation 3 came out, when LittleBigPlanet came out, it was a couple of years after launch, and then there was that bundle pack. 2 was a big game, and obviously you've had games on the Vita as well. But still, when LittleBigPlanet 3 came on stage, you guys seem to get the whole crowd. There's something visually about it that just seems to get with people, like it just makes them smile.
Yeah, totally.
So with these new characters, how much of it is to do with like opening up new types of gameplay, and how much of it is to do with just making characters that people actually like looking at?
Oh, it's always all about the gameplay. You know, right? And from the start, we wanted to make characters which felt completely different, and obviously looked different as well. But it was, you know, we spent a lot of time really thinking about the character had to introduce a new style of game. Yeah, and if we didn't have that, then we wouldn't have been able to have the character.
Yeah.
So, you know, a flying character is quite an obvious one. Then I think, you know, introducing a four-legged character was kind of obvious. And it was that last one. We were like, what should we do?
Yeah.
You know, should we do something, maybe something big? Should we do something small? Should we do something big and small? So,
there was a part in it as well where is it Swoop, the flying character, picked up one of the other characters.
Yeah.
How can you do that all the time? Is there a way of like just piggybacking each other through the levels, or?
What it is that the level that we showed at the press conference yesterday, we built that to showcase the abilities of the characters.
Okay.
So we saw a couple of comments online saying, "Oh, Swoop's got too much kind of like power."
Yeah, Swoop's OP.
Yeah, Swoop's OP. Yeah. The thing with that is that the way we build the game is that, you know, you can't just change the Swoop at any time and take over the level.
Okay.
It's like the gameplay's built around the characters through the main adventure.
Cool. And presumably then, because you guys seem to leave all the tools that you have at your disposal to the creators as well, that they'll be able to make rule sets like that as
Absolutely.
well.
Yes.
Yeah, you can take a character and you can use its default abilities, or you can completely change their abilities and create.
Carl Duran, Sidburn19 on Twitter is asking, have you tightened the controls for LittleBigPlanet, because he felt that the other games were a little bit floaty in terms of the platforming?
We actually have. It's a big topic of discussion, actually. We have tightened it up a little bit, and actually it makes a big difference.
Yeah.
It's not a massive change, but yeah, there's just, I think the people, it was kind of funny, a lot of people weren't bothered by what's been termed floaty physics.
Yeah.
But then some people were. It was kind of a bit polarised. I think those who weren't bothered won't really notice any difference, but I think those who were, it's just tightened up just a bit. Yeah, I think people will be happy.
Yeah, I would say that the Marmite controls and the
exactly.
that you're probably I'd say there'll be a lot of people that would be happy to know that it's been addressed to a little bit anyway.
And I think because we're backwards compatible with all of the levels, we could radically change things anyway.
Question here from my initials on Twitter: can you play on the new characters on the old LittleBigPlanet levels?
So no, is the short answer. Basically, because like what Tom was saying before, we need to control when people can play the characters, and users can as well. So if you create a level, you will choose what characters are allowed in your level, because you could spend like weeks and weeks making a really technically challenging level for all of the ground-based characters, and then someone could just select Swoop and go fly straight through.
And then the leaderboards are a bit kind of messed up.
Yes. Yeah. So but you can just choose what you want when you want. So that's kind of the way we get around that from a creator's point of view.
Cool. Past games in the series have always had pretty interesting stories. Are you guys going to have a full campaign, as it were, or are you going to lean towards the creation stuff more heavily this time?
Yeah, so we've definitely got a really great play experience from start to finish, and brand new story, brand new adventure with loads of new ways to play. And our adventure is a showcase as well as being just a great game on its own. So definitely a full play mode there.
Craig's Lindsay's asking, will we have Stephen Fry in Little Big Planet 3?
Oh, are we confirming that or not? Yeah.
Yeah?
We hope
Hooray! Exclusive here in the GameSpot stage. Stephen
Probably.
Fry will
It'd be wrong
back.
not to.
Yeah.
Exactly. Imagine Little Big Planet without Stephen Fry.
It just wouldn't work, would it? Thanks for the question there, Craig. Really appreciate it. Yeah, is there anything else in terms of like stuff that you haven't shown? You seem to make a really good level that showcased a lot of what's new with Little Big Planet 3. Was there anything else in here that maybe we haven't seen yet?
I mean, from a create point of view, there's loads, and we're going to be talking a lot more of that later. It's a great thing with LBP, really, is there's just so many things. Each kind of time we talk about it, we can always talk about new things because there's so much to talk about. But yeah, there's a lot more in the game. The characters bring a lot more than I think we've even shown in this. But yeah, we always try and build upon the existing sort of creation tools.
Yeah.
And we've also tried hard to make things a little bit more accessible as well. So there's some really cool features in there which are going to help people to create a little bit easier as well, which I think is going to just broaden the amount of people who can actually get to grips with the create tools. But there's just loads
there's
in
so
there.
many.
So
and
much
I know one thing that the community will love. Like, we talk a lot about the new characters. We've also done some really great features for Sackboy as well. You know, you can really kind of expand the way he uses power-ups in the game as well. So we're going to talk more about that at another time, but the community will go mad for that.
Awesome. I just want to touch on one thing as well that some people have been saying. I saw on Twitter yesterday. Obviously, Sumo are working on this game, not Media Molecule. Sumo are based up in Sheffield, I think. Is that right? Yeah. So just from a developer standpoint, sometimes people are a little bit worried when their favorite franchise is like pushed over to somebody else. Sumo have a bit of history with Little Big Planet. They did the cross-controller pack, I think, for Little Big Planet 2. What would you say to folks who are maybe just wondering if will there be a different take on Little Big Planet this time around?
I think there's a slightly different take in that it's a new team with new ideas, and so that's a really positive thing. But I think you can see from the demo, you know, I've worked on Little Big Planet since day one.
Yeah.
You know, we're really pushing to make sure that it still feels very LBP-ish, and I think you can see from the demo that it does. But I think the introduction of some new ideas is only positive. They had a great starting point. Media Molecule have done a fabulous job. And Media Molecule still take a look at the game, and you know, they'll always express their opinions. And we have other developers involved as well who've worked on Little Big Planet for a while as well. So the Little Big Planet developer family is a big family.
Cool. Pete and Tom from Sony Computer Entertainment Europe, thank you so much for coming on and showing us Little Big Planet 3. Folks at home as well, I can't wait to see more about this game. So thanks very much for spending time with GameSpot today. We're going to be back with Battlefield Hardline in just a few minutes, but first of all, we're going to check out a little bit of Fable Legends.